We're out here in front of Senator Nelson's office today highlighting some local Floridian healthcare stories and the need for reform now. Organizing for America is bringing the healthcare debate to front porches, kitchen tables all across Florida. And this week we are organizing a healthcare reform week of action. These are events, a series of events that are in all 50 states, and they're to show members of Congress that there's broad support for healthcare reform, and now is a very critical time.
I'm a nurse at Jackson in the trauma intensive care, and I'm proud to work at a public hospital where we don't check credit cards before we deliver. We're going to be the push, and I expect healthcare workers in the trenches across this country to lead the push as healthcare workers we need. When Tom Lander, who's a school teacher, talks about classroom size, I want to join with him. But when it's healthcare, I expect us healthcare workers to step up to the plate and lead the way. We'll be glad to do it. A lot of us have been working for decades, and this is a dream come true. And as some people have said, we've been going a lifetime for a marathon to see healthcare reform
here, and able to, in a way, promote everybody to go along with President Obama's plan, mainly because I have never really felt the need to have any type of reform with the health care until this last year and a half. And I guess I was one of the lucky ones who was covered by insurance at my job, and my husband as well. But like a lot of us nowadays, my husband was laid off from work, and he was not notified of COBRA or anything like that, because the company just moved, outsourced to an island. And he's 47 years. He was 47 years old, and 3 months later he suffered a myocardial infarction. He was in good shape. Nobody would have thought. He rode the MS 150 miles on his bike. I mean, nobody would have thought this would happen. Without insurance, we were taken into the hospital, and he was treated, and we received a bill for $80,000. Which he survived, and we were glad about. We tried to do a payment plan. In the meantime, at my job, the insurance rates for the shareholders went up by, I believe, 35%. So where before we had a plan where I would just go and have a copay, they had to change their plan to one that would suit their overhead costs. So my expenses went up also by about $1,500 just to be able to keep myself insured. During this time, we still had to continue having my husband go for checkups after the hospital, and each time that he went for one of these checkups, it was at least $600 to $700. I went through about $30,000 in 6 months of money that I had put away that was left to me by my parents when they passed away, to be able to meet these costs. After this was the kicker. He was told by his cardiologist that he needed to have a defibrillator put in, which is like a pacemaker, but it works the other way around. Because if he had any type, his heart did not completely come back, and if he had any type of alteration in his beat, it would kill him instantly. There would be no CPR allowed. So we went to where he had his surgery. I can say the name of the hospital or no?
Yeah.
No. At Mount Sinai, which is a great hospital. And the doctor spoke to by that time, sorry if I missed a very important part. By that time he had started working at a company and started receiving their insurance plan. And the doctor had it pre-approved with the insurance company to have this procedure done. They didn't approve one procedure, which was some kind of test, but they did approve to have the defibrillator put in. He went into the hospital, and he had the defibrillator put in. And after the surgery, and he came out fine, we got home, and 10 days later, we get a letter that the insurance company decided that they were not going to cover it anymore. And we were totally shocked, because here is just a day in the hospital outpatient was another $30,000. So it became to where our life centered on how do we budget ourselves so we could have the medications and the health care that we need and the food that we need to eat to be able to go to work and be able to receive this insurance, whatever good it will do, so we can continue living. And our way of life, which is really what we always wanted, was just comfort, has changed completely. It is stress-filled. And lastly, after this procedure was done with that the insurance company did not cover, a form was sent by this big company that he worked for, and it asked all personal questions about health. It was sent to most of their employees. It was done by a third company. And 2 weeks, he filled it out honestly, and I told him, I said, no, don't fill that out, because that's a trick. I had a feeling. And I knew about the HIPAA Act, the Privacy Act. Well, sure enough, 2 weeks after he filled out that form, which stated that he didn't have a heart problem, he was laid off again. And he was one of the highest salespersons in the company. There was absolutely no reason. I mean, they didn't tell him they laid him off because of that, but we knew it, and that's where it is. It'll affect, if it has not affected your life yet, be thankful that it doesn't, because once it does, you won't be able, the insurance companies will not help you. The drug companies that tell you in the news that they will give you free medications or help you with the medications, they will not help you. And lastly, I will tell you, lately there's been a commercial of this woman saying she's a Canadian and that she would have lost her life if she didn't come to the United States and have surgery. That's not true, and I'll tell you why. I was raised in the United States Virgin Islands, and when I visited there last June, not last month, but last year, friends of mine that I've known for 30 years will go to the Dominican Republic to have normal procedures done for $300 that will include doctor's visits, tests, x-rays, everything, before they can afford to go to their own American hospital or doctor on the island. And that's the going trend there. If you can hop, even here, if you can hop on a plane and go to the Dominican Republic, or you can't go to Cuba, but go to another island and go to the dentist, for instance, for $300, you'll get done what'll cost you $10,000 here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.